One of the most memorable things that Todor has said to me about real estate that really impacted me was this quote here. Real estate is there before you and I. Real estate never goes away. You always need shelter. Always need shelter. So what I wanted to share about this book was my experience writing it with Todor. He approached me, he said, I have so many ideas, I want to write an anthology about real estate, so what can we do? I wanted to share with you today the 3 common challenges that I found while writing the book between people from all different backgrounds. I interviewed, with Todor's permission of course, I interviewed single moms, people with families, people of all types of backgrounds and all different kinds of experiences, and 3 common challenges that ran through all of them having to do with real estate. So that's why I decided to title it, Real Estate is Not for You. Number 1 that I found is balance. How do you know when you're first getting into real estate if you want it to be part-time or full-time? Especially, is everybody new investors in the room? Or is everybody experienced, or where are we in terms of level? Who's new? Who's new? Okay, so who is really experienced and knows exactly what I'm talking about? And yay. So everybody's kind of at different levels here. That's okay, because that's what I found with writing the book. Jeff and I started our real estate adventure a year ago, and we're still learning new things. And this was what I learned was, balance. When you're first starting out, especially if you have a job, a full-time job, which most of us do, how do you know when to balance your time, and when do you know when to start? Is it full-time or part-time? And that was one of those challenges. The second challenge was really eye-opening to me, owning the home you live in. And many people will probably know that, maybe not, but owning the home that you live in is an expense, a liability in many cases. Would you agree? Yeah. So that was a shock to me. You probably know, but writing this book, I had no idea. That was a huge shock to me, because growing up, we all taught you have to buy a house and live in it right away, then you get married, then you have kids. So it really shattered my whole belief about that. So we address in the book, what happens if you already own a house, what can you do? Is it still an expense? Well, that's what we talk about. And the last challenge was really profound to me. I'm an analytical person. When do you start the actual process of investing? When do you know, especially if you're an analytical person like me, when do you know when to stop coming to these real estate groups, when to stop reading, and when to actually do it? When do you start? I'm an analytical personality. I know a lot of A-type personalities, and they all have the same commonalities running through, the same fears, the same challenges. When do you start? So, how many would like to understand exactly how they overcome, all the people in this book, how they overcame these 3 challenges in their lives? Yeah. Well, there you go. Amazon.ca. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you guys realize, but our goal here is to make sure that you get value every time you come here. I think right there we just delivered value for 20 bucks tonight. But I have the great privilege of somebody who's going to deliver even more value. In fact, he's so accomplished that I had to print off exactly what I had to say about it because I couldn't remember it all. So our next guest is a financial expert in reducing taxes people pay as well as the fees they're paying in their banks. He's put millions of dollars back into the pockets of people like myself and you. He will show you how to generate large tax refunds year after year and put money right back in your pocket. It's not what you earn, it's how much you keep that counts. I agree with that very much. Making your money instead of making your bank rich. He owns multiple businesses across North America. He is a successful equity and real estate investor with numerous investments and properties in Canada and the U.S. He loves working with youth and entrepreneurs, and as a result, he is a judge for the DECA Student Entrepreneur Competition. In his corporate life, he was the fix-it guy who went into troubled locations and got them back to success. Because of that, he took a $200 million music and video program, running a 70% profit, and grew it 110% in just 6 months. Wow. His clients have gone from struggling to build their income investments to becoming millionaires. He shared stages with Brian Tracy, David Chilton of Dragon's Den, and his business partner is Kevin O'Leary and Ms. Claudia Harvey. And he is co-author of the Amazon #1 internationally best-selling book, Empowering Women to Succeed. He's also the only man in that book. He's going to give you an amazing offer today. If you want more, you need to start working with him today. Please give a huge round of applause for international best-selling author, CEO of the Blackthorn Group, Mr. Craig Dunkerley.
How many of you pay too much in taxes? Okay, half the room, so some of you like paying taxes? How many of you would like to pay a lot less and keep more of that money in your pocket? Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Craig Dunkerley, CEO of Blackthorn Group. I want to thank Jeff, Lindsay for inviting me here tonight. It is an honor and a privilege to be up here and speaking in front of you. Thank you very much for Jeff, Lindsay. Let's give them a wonderful round of applause. As you see, I do not use IT because sometimes you get lost in it, and I do not like getting lost. I like knowing the direction I'm going. How many of you like the direction you're going? Come on, hands up. You like the direction you're going? Excellent. So we got a few people here. We got a few people who want to know where they're going. So before I get started, is it okay if I tell you a little bit about myself?
Yes.
Okay, I heard 4 people in the room. Is it okay if I tell you a little bit about myself?
Yes.
A little bit better. Thank you. All right, anybody need a coffee? Do we have coffee? All right, thank you. So I'm not going to start off with my typical tax story, because that's what I'd like to start with. But here tonight, we're here for what? Okay, come on. Why are we here tonight? What are we here for tonight?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. Knowledge of what?
Making money.
Okay, so the event is put on by
Real Estate Network Toronto.
Real Estate Network Toronto. So are we interested in real estate?
Yes.
Okay, a few people. So with that, again, is it okay if I tell you a little bit about myself?
Yes.
So I'm going to go back. I'm not going to give you my whole bio and my history, because bios are boring, right? Bios are boring. So I'm going to go back to when I was 25 years old. Not quite as young as Natalia when I got started in real estate, but I started in real estate, my wife and I, when I was 25 years old. She was 23 years old. We bought our first property in Bramalea. When we bought our first property, we were just we weren't newly engaged. We were 6 months away from getting married. We got married after we took possession of the property 6 months later, and we moved in. And that was a wonderful thing. It was our first house, but as we heard earlier tonight, is from Lindsay, is it always a good thing to own a residential property for yourself? Is that an investment or is it a liability? It's a liability. So one person was listening to Lindsay. So Lindsay, you appreciate that, I'm sure, right? How many else? Who else heard that it was a liability to own a house? Yeah. How many of you are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah. What did he talk about? What did he talk about? Investments. Buying properties to invest and duplicating that. And what I found when we bought our first property, what Tana, my wife, beautiful wife at the back of the room, stand up, Tana, say hello. Hello. Hello, thank you. So what we found when we bought our first property is that we didn't like the idea of paying a mortgage. So we decided who likes paying a mortgage? Right? That's your liability, right? So we decided when we bought our first property that we were going to rent out the basement. We were going to buy a house that we could rent out the basement. And we did that. We bought our first house, we rented out the basement, and an amazing thing happened. Those people who lived in our basement paid our mortgage every single month. Now, how many people do you know that will walk up to you in the street and say, hey, would you like me to pay your mortgage? Right? So that was a nice thing. We actually had a bonus at that time because there was a couple, and I can't remember their names, back in 1990, so a long time ago. She worked for Molson's. And at that particular time, Molson's gave their employees 2 beer vouchers every single week with their paycheck. Pretty cool, eh? They didn't drink. So we had a bit of a bonus every now and then. Almost every month we got a couple of these beer vouchers for us. So that was pretty nice. So it went on and they continued to pay our mortgage. But at that time I was working for a company called Zellers. Anybody remember a company called Zellers?
Yes.
Yeah, where are they now? Yeah, they're gone. Where are their employees now?
Gone.
Yeah, they're gone. How many of you have a job? Yeah? Half the room. Yeah, I feel bad for you. Sorry. Yeah, just over broke, right?
Yep.
Right? How many of those Zellers employees still have a job?
Some.
You know, but wait a minute. I'm going to my tax a little bit here. I apologize for that. I get distracted sometimes. Zellers went under. 20,000 people lost their job. Fortunately, I had decided well before then that I was going to look after myself. I was going to start my own business, including real estate investing. But 20,000 people lost their job when Zellers went under. But a wonderful thing happened. This company called Target came in and saved them, right? Right? They bought up the assets, they moved in, they bought up Zellers, and those employees got their jobs back, right? Yeah, about half of them, 10,000 of them got their jobs back, 10,000 were gone. Those 10,000 people thought, okay, we're good, we've got this big US company come here, they've saved us, and now, a year later, where's Target?
Gone.
Gone. How many of you have a job? Okay, are you relying on that job for your entire life? I remember when I started at Zellers, I was 16 years old. And I saw 65 years old, retiring. I was going to be with this company for my entire life. They were going to look after me. I was going to retire. At 65, I could picture it, the roast. Everybody's heard of that roast, right? Where they everything. Actually, my staff roasted me today. I'm not going to get into that today, but they roasted. Apparently, we have some things that we do that people. Anyway, that's off topic. Sorry. Zellers didn't look after me. And I left before that happened. Anybody familiar with a company called Nortel? Yeah, where's Nortel? Gone. One of the biggest companies in Canada. My dad worked for Nortel. My dad worked all his life for Nortel when he came to Canada, all his life. And he planned for that retirement where he would have that nice pension where the company would look after him. Nortel went under. They took with it the pension. In fact, only now, how long has Nortel been gone? 4 or 5 years? Only this month in January, my dad is finally getting his pension. And it's reduced by 33% from what he worked for all his life. I'm not going to tell you to leave your job, but I'm going to tell you, make sure you have a plan B. Who has a plan B? Awesome. My plan B was real estate. And at that point in time, my wife's plan B was real estate. At that point in time, when we rented out that basement, we knew that we were starting something. Because very quickly we went from a 25-year mortgage to a 10-year mortgage. Very quickly we were paying off that debt. Is your mortgage a debt?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a good debt or a bad debt?
Good debt.
It's a good debt. In which situation? Okay, I like this group. So if you've got a mortgage on your house and you're paying off the debt of living there, I call that a bad debt. I read Robert Kiyosaki a long time ago. I call that a bad debt. But what is the interest rate today that you can borrow on? It was mentioned today. What can you borrow on today? 2.79%. 2.79%. We borrowed against our property at 6.8% because we knew we could invest in real estate and get a lot more than 6.8%. If you can borrow at 2 points, it's going up. It went up from 2.39 to 2.79. Ooh! That's cheap money. If you can borrow and invest at higher rates of return than that, that's money in the pocket. And that's what Robert Kiyosaki talks about. And that's what we did. And it scared Tana. It scared Tana when we started that. Because back in 1991, Zellers moved me from Brampton to St. Catharines. Actually, we went to Cambridge first. They moved us out to Cambridge. And at that point in time, we said, you know what, we've got this property that the basement is paying our mortgage. We've got to go buy a house in Cambridge now. How about if we put somebody in the upper floor and get them to pay for our mortgage in Cambridge? And we did that. All of a sudden, we had 2 people paying 2 of our mortgages. Well, the one thing I love about real estate is it snowballs. And that's what I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. It duplicates itself very quickly. We moved back to Brampton 2 years later. We moved into the house we wanted to for our family. And we bought 2 duplexes. We were 3 years into our marriage. And we had a house for ourselves. And we had 2 duplexes that were paying us income and growing in appreciation. We heard tonight from Natalia about Toronto. Toronto, how it's not crashing. Where's it going? It continues to go up, right? Some people say that, some people say other. But real estate typically moves up. And I have found from my experience, the best investments I've ever made in my life have been in real estate. And I love real estate. And that's why I'm here tonight speaking before you. Not only because Jeff and Lindsay invited me, but I love the concept of real estate. How many of you are passionate about real estate? How many of you would like to be passionate about real estate? So a few. So I want to take that from where it took us in our life to the tax side of it. I want to step away from the real estate discussion and talk about taxes, because that's why I was asked to come here tonight. And at least half, probably 3/4 of the room said to me that they're paying too much in taxes and that you'd like to have more of that in your pocket. So how many of you would like to know how to do that? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So Blackthorn Group is our company, and what we teach individuals, we teach in our courses how to basically deduct almost everything off your tax return. Now, when we look at today, Jeff talked about it a little bit, that our debt is growing, right? I remember before the crash in 2009, everybody remembers the crash of the stock market in 2009? Before that crash, we had a debt ratio of $1.41. For every dollar we owed $1.41. Is that a good thing? No. Is the economy getting better? Yes? No? Come on, speak up. Yes?
Maybe.
Okay, how many say yes? All right, we got a couple. How many say no? All right, everybody's watching the stock market in January, obviously, as it goes crashing down, as it has over the last year. But yeah, really, is it getting better? Things are moving along better, but realistically, we are now at a debt ratio of 1.86. So most people have seen the economy moving along, but actually our debt ratio is getting worse, right? More and more people are relying on consumer debt. And my thoughts is, why are we spending so much money? And when I say that, I don't say, why are we spending so much money? I say, why are we spending so much in taxes? Because we don't have to. Do you know the average Canadian pays more in taxes than they pay for shelter, food, and clothing? Does that sound fair?
No.
No, come on. Does that sound fair? No. So do you think you should keep some of it yourself?
Yes.
Of course.
Right. So can I tell another little story? Just a short one. Okay, come on. Just a short one. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
So I left the Zellers organization in 2000. I left the Zellers organization in 2000 because I saw that they weren't going anywhere. What I recognized is I got to look after myself. And I had, over the years that I was Zellers, I'd always had a part-time business. And that part-time business was real estate. And a few other things on the side because I like to stay busy. But that part-time business in real estate allowed me, while I was at Zellers, to write off things. Now, if I have a business in real estate, if you own real estate, or if you invest in real estate, a few investors in real estate here? If you invest in real estate, is that an opportunity to make money?
Yes.
If you have an opportunity to make money from an investment, can you write off things against it?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Any opportunity you have to make money creates an opportunity to write things off. I was telling a story. Where was I at?
Zellers in 2000.
Zellers in 2000.
You laughed.
Anyways, okay, so my real estate business was allowing me to write things off. And every year when I was paying my $20,000, $30,000 taken off by my paycheck by Zellers, at the year end, I would get $5,000, $6,000 back. Because I always had this business on the side, this real estate business, that was on paper losing me some money. And I say on paper. Is on paper different than actual?
Yes.
Yeah, usually, right? Usually. So on paper, I was losing money. And that allowed me to claim those expenses, those losses, against my tax return. Now, how many realize if you have a loss in a business, whether it be real estate or something else, that those losses can be claimed against your income that you earn in your JOB? Absolutely. So, if you paid $20,000 in income tax on your job, they took that off you all year, you earned $80,000, all of a sudden you have a loss of $10,000 in business, all of a sudden your income drops to $70,000, and you only have to pay tax on $70,000. You get a nice little tax return, $5,000, $6,000 maybe. But what I recognized when I left Zellers was, wait a minute, I wasn't always thinking about business because I was corporately minded, right? How many people are corporately minded, right? Is that even a thing? Maybe not, right? But so many people, they think corporate and they don't think for themselves. They think for their corporate, they don't think for themselves. And what I recognized when I left Zellers that I had to start thinking more and more for myself because I had a family to look after still. And I recognized that almost everything I spend, I can write off against my tax return. Almost everything I spend, I can write off against my tax return. Now, what would happen if you currently own $1 and you spend $1.86? You're basically spending 80% more than you own. What would that do to your tax return at year end? Anybody? So I earn $60,000. I spend $80,000. What would that do my tax return?
Reduce it by 20%, by 20,000.
It would reduce it to 0 and negative 20. So you're on the right track, negative 20. Now if your income goes to negative 20, what happens to the taxes you paid?
Gone.
Who said all? Thank you very much. You get them all back. Every single penny. So one of the things that I teach people in our courses is how to change your mindset around what you purchase and how it relates to your business. How many people in the room have a business? Okay. How many people in the room have real estate investments? And you make that a business? Okay. All right. Make it a business. We can show you how to do that. So we change your mindset how to almost everything you spend. How is it business related? I don't care what you do. How is it business related? So let me give you an example. My son, Brett, he was 17 years old, and at the time he was driving his mom's car. So he recently got his license and he was driving his mom's car. And he kind of listened to me now and then, and here's what I say. And he's a little bit of a charismatic kid, and a little bit of a smartass. Can I say that? Smartass, is that okay? A little bit of a smartass. And I've talked to him, every time you get in the car, Brett, make sure the travel is related to the business. If you have real estate, make sure the travel is related to your real estate. Now, how could that happen? You could go looking at new properties. You could go meet new people who maybe know something, maybe know a broker, maybe know a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, something like that, and talk and get introduced. You could go out and sit with somebody and introduce them to Jeff. That's a relationship to your business that may help you earn money down the road somewhere. right? So I said to Brett, every time you get in your car, make sure it's business related. So Tana comes out one day, and she says to him, she says, we're in the kitchen, and she says to Brett, she says, Brett, would you mind driving your sister and her friend to the movie tonight? And Brett turns to Tana, Mom? No, Mom, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't do that because if I drive Brianne and her friend to the movie, that's not related to the business. That means I'm going to put mileage on the car that isn't business related, so I can't write off my gas. Whose car is he driving at this point? Mom's, is this a smart kid? I don't know.
He listens.
He listens, sometimes to the wrong things, right? Sometimes to the wrong things. So he leaves the room. Tana's not too happy. And he comes back a few minutes later and he says, Mom, I don't know if anybody knows Brampton. We live in Caledon, just north of Brampton. And he goes, Mom, I have to go to Trinity Mall tonight. Trinity Mall is in Brampton, about 10 minutes from our house. I have to go to Trinity Mall tonight. Oh, by the way, they have a movie theater there. I have to go to Trinity Mall tonight because there's a metro there where I post up the sign for my business. And I haven't been there in 2 or 3 weeks. So I need to go check that it's still up there and put it back up, if it's not. Is there anything you need me to do while I'm driving to the mall? Drive your sister to the movies! Okay, Mom, yeah, I can do that, no problem. In the first scenario, is it a business write-off?
No.
No. In the second scenario, is it a business write-off?
Yes.
Yeah. Who goes to the grocery store to buy milk? Okay, who tomorrow will go to the grocery store to buy milk? Awesome, thank you very much. Right, because you have a real estate business, and if you're invested in real estate, what do you want to do? You want to connect with other people in real estate. So you're going to go to Metro, you're going to go to Fortino's, wherever you go, and you're going to stick a sign up on the billboard that says, looking for people interested in talking about real estate. Is that going to help your investment?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you buy your milk while you're there?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a business write-off?
Yes.
Yeah. How many people have a mileage log in their car? Where they write, hey, thank you, very well, too, thank you. Where they write down where they traveled and why they traveled there. Yeah, absolutely. That mileage log that you write down, what does it take? 30 seconds when you sit in the car? Becomes habit? Right? That's worth thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. And at Blackthorn, when we teach people how to reduce their taxes, we teach them how to do it legally and legitimately, but also how to set yourself up to when that auditor comes in and says, hey, let me look at your stuff. Because I'm telling you, if you change your mindset around taxes and what you spend, almost everything is a tax write-off. And if you record it appropriately, it flies. And a mileage log is a huge thing. So the two people who have mileage logs going, you know, congratulations. Because 99% of business owners don't. And I'll tell you, if you're in business or if you're investing, you're probably going to get audited. The first thing they will do when they walk into your audit is say, can I see your mileage log? And when you go, here you go, your audit just went, wow, nobody has one of those. You're awesome. Right? It makes everything go a lot smoother. So we help teach you how to keep things organized. So, you know, what else can you write off? What else can you write off? Anything. Training? Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful with training. If you haven't started your business or you're investing yet, any training is a personal expense. Once you start your business and have some income or an investment, that training now becomes a business expense. So you got to be careful. You got to watch for that. Anything else?
Parties.
Parties! Who loves to party? Right? Oh, come on. Who loves to party? All right, Tana. Who loves to party?
We do.
We do. Yeah, thank you. So 4 times a year. 4 times a year you can have a party. And invite everybody you know. Some are business relations. Some are family, some are friends, some are the guy walking down the street. Are they all prospects for your relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, 4 times a year. So I'm going to have a party. How many people in this room? 50. Okay, how many are coming? Okay, come on. Can we throw some good parties?
I've been to your parties,
Okay,
yes.
how many people are coming? Right, okay. So we're organizing this party. And how many of you do I know? Put up your hands if I know you and you know me before tonight. All right, so about 4 people in the room. All right, so I'm planning this party. Do I know what you like? No, I don't. I don't know if you like fish, beef, chicken, or you're vegetarian. I don't know if you like beef, chicken, fish, or vegetarian. Beef, chicken, fish, vegetarian. Do I know that?
No.
Do I like to make my guests happy?
Yes.
Yes. So how many people in the room? 50. How many beef do I gotta buy? 50. How many chicken do I gotta buy? 50. How many fish do I gotta buy? 50. How many vegetarian salads do I gotta buy? 50. Oh crap, there's some vegans in the room. I gotta buy some vegan stuff. What else? What else? Gluten free. Oh my gosh. I gotta make all these people happy. Right, so I'm gonna buy 50 fish, I'm gonna buy 50 beef, I'm gonna buy 50 chicken, and I'm gonna have 50 salads. How many of that can I put in the freezer after the party?
All of them.
Because there's gonna be some leftover.
Lots of them.
Absolutely. Was it bought for the party?
Yes.
Did it help my business?
Yes.
Probably. Am I writing it off?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. What am I gonna be doing the week following the party? Because all my chicken, fish, and beef is frozen. I'm gonna be eating salad. The 50 aren't gonna eat salad. Awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Do you drink rye? Do you drink rum? Do you drink vodka? Do you drink rye? Do you drink rum? Do you drink scotch? Do you drink beer? Do you drink rye? Oh, wine? Oh, shoot, I have got red, white. Oh, all right. Last party, Bailey's, right? Do I need to be stopped?
Yes.
Absolutely, because I want my party happy. Is it a write-off?
Yes.
Yeah. May I have some leftovers?
Yes.
Maybe. Time for another party. Right, you can have 4 a year. Right, 4 a year. Right? Conventions. How many of you like to go to conventions? Yeah, absolutely. I love conventions. Right, inspirational. You learn stuff. Right, you're learning something tonight.
Yep.
All right, 2 people. Thank you. Appreciate that. Right, conventions. You're allowed to go to 2 a year. 2 a year. But if you have a relationship with the company that you're going down to see the convention, so let's say you're invested with a company, we talked about syndicated mortgages tonight. If you're related to the company in some way, either you're invested, you're partnered, or you're something with them, if you go to their convention, it is not considered a convention, it's considered a training. How many trainings can you go into a year?
Endless.
As many as you want to. As many as you want to. Okay, so there's a few tricks out there. Now I said, change your mindset to write off almost everything. You know, I talked about Brett, how he writes off his car. But what else can you write off? Let's think.
Clothes.
Dinner.
Clothes are actually a no. Clothes are actually a no.
Meals.
We are challenging that. We will continue to challenge that, CRA. We are challenging clothing. Because a good example is my wife by trade is a dental assistant. She's a certified dental assistant. Now she buys, what do they call those? Scrubs, right? Now, you know, you're dressed pretty nice tonight, Tana. You look awesome, thanks. How often do you think she wears scrubs outside of the dental office? Yeah, no, maybe Halloween, right? But other than that, she's not wearing those scrubs outside the dental office. But unfortunately, they're still not a write-off. Now that's an employee type situation, but you can set yourself up as a business in that situation as well, but still you can't write them off. Now,
Meals?
I happen to be on stage here, right? I'm not a performer, but as a person who gets up on stage, And to some extent, I like to perform a little bit. Would you like me to dance? Right? Because if I dance, I'm now a performer, right? That was a pretty bad dance, right? Come on, help me out here. Right? As a performer, you can write off clothing and a few other things. So if you have an aspiration to get on stage, you could probably get some clothing write-offs as well as a few other things. But there's a few things you can't. Yes?
Curious, what if a part of your business was uploading YouTube videos? So in that case, let's say if you're wearing a business suit, can you write off the business suit?
Can't write off clothing for any purpose at all, unless you're a performer.
But would YouTube in this case not be considered a...
Okay, so you're saying you're uploading yourself onto YouTube?
Right.
So you're considering yourself as a performance? Yeah, I would challenge that. Yeah, if I would claim that, and if CRA challenged it, I would fight that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you're playing in a gray area, but you are a performer basically. You need that clothing for going on camera. Yeah, absolutely, I'd fight that. And one of the things that we do at Blackthorn too, we do like to challenge CRA. So we don't play in an area of things that aren't allowed, but we will push the envelope. And we will, in that situation, make sure that, yeah, let's claim that. And if they challenge it, we'll fight it. And if they turn it down, well, really, you've maybe got a $1,000 claim that got turned down, right? Meanwhile, you're writing off 10, 15, 20,000, 30,000, getting massive tax returns, and maybe the odd one gets turned down. So we'll challenge those as long as we're actually doing it legitimate because we have reasoning. And that's where I go back to the mindset part. Because when you're working with CRA, you want to make sure that before you write off an expense, it is, in your mind, a legitimate expense. So can I give you an example? Yes. Anybody want to hear an example?
Yes.
Oh my God, thank you. So I got audited on one of my companies. It's about 2 years ago now. It was the fiscal third quarter of the HST remittance. And the auditor's going through a few things, and I've got in my mindset how they were all business related, and I'm saying, yep. And she gets to this one, $500 bill that I claimed for Big Al's aquarium services in Brampton. $500 worth of tropical fish that I claimed on my tax return for business purposes. And the auditor says to me, she says, okay, Craig, how are these tropical fish related to your business? I said, well, in my office at home, my home office, we had an outside office and I had my home office, I have a 180-gallon saltwater fish tank with beautiful tropical fish in it. And that bill was to buy fish to put in that tank. Yeah, okay, Craig. How does that help your business? Because if it's a legitimate expense, it has to help my business. Well, when clients walk in, either existing clients or new clients walk into my home office, the first thing they do is go, wow, look at these beautiful fish, the orange, the green, the blue, there's Nemo, there's Dory, there's all kinds of fish in there. And they ask questions about it. And then from there, that smooths the whole conversation of the meeting. It sets the tone. What did the auditor say? Word for word. Okay. Anyway. I love animals. Can I give one more?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So, and this is, you change your mindset. Because when I bought, I said I'm going to give them one more, but I'm not there yet. When I bought those fish, did I go to Big Al's and say, I want to buy some tropical fish for my fish tank at home so that I can look at them because they look pretty?
No.
Is that what I thought in my mind? No. I thought in my mind I'm going to go buy these fish because I'm going to put them in my tank, and when people come into my office, they're going to look at them, they're going to like them, and it's going to be fun. So when that auditor called and asked me, how are these business related, did I hesitate for a second how they were business related? No. No, not at all, because when I bought them, it was already in my mind. It was already in my mind. So a few years later, my kids decide they want to buy a puppy. they decide they want to buy a puppy, and they bought this nice little puppy called Lola that they named Lola. Nice little white puppy, and they love it. The whole family loves the puppy. And at the time, I had a girl working in my office called Melissa. She was 24 years old, and I walk into the office and I'm showing off pictures of little Lola, and Melissa says to me, she says, "Okay, Craig, how are you going to write off Lola?" So I like a challenge. How many of you like a challenge? Yeah, I like a challenge. So I sit back for a second, because you always got to think before you speak sometimes. I learned that being married. So, seriously, I learned that. I learned that. It took a few years, but I learned it. Right, men? How many men in the room? Yeah, you guys learned that, right? So she said this to me. I said, "You know what? I got to figure this out." So think about it. I'm 48 years old right now. We've had Lola for 3 years, so I was 45 years old. And just around the corner from our house, we have a park. And I like to network. I like to meet people. I like to talk to people and find out what they do, find out what they need. How can I help them? Hey, you know where I'm going, right? 2 dogs. Oh, my marketing manager just bought her second puppy yesterday, and it's a write-off, right? So here I am, a 45-year-old man, okay? And I want to meet people, and I'm going to go for a walk in the park. All right, so here I go strolling to the park. I find a bench, and I sit down. How many people come up and talk to me? None. This isn't working. Maybe I should get up and talk to some people. Yeah! Pepper spray, right? 911, this guy's patrolling the park, right? Is that going to work for me? Lady, maybe that works for you, but 45-year-old guy, that's not going to work for me. Now, day 2, Lola would like to go for a walk. Right? Lola and I go walk into the park, we sit down on the bench, she sits beside me, she jumps on my lap, whatever she does. How many people are going to come talk to me?
Many.
Yeah, almost every single person in the park. Actually, talking to my son, I did a presentation yesterday similar to this one, and my son said, "Yeah, when I go to the park with Lola, people won't leave me alone." Right? Does that help my business?
Yes.
Can I write off the dog?
Yeah.
Can I write off Lola? Absolutely. Now when that auditor calls, thank you. When that auditor calls and says, "Okay, come on, a dog, what is she, a guard dog? Yeah, I'll show you pictures." Right? So it's changing your mindset around everything you spend. Okay? Legitimate. You know, I hear people all the time, "Yeah, you know, somebody came up to me and they said they've got this this donation I can make. I can make a donation for $1,000 and they'll give me a tax receipt for $10,000. Does that sound very legitimate? No. Are you going to get in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? You're going to get in trouble 3 or 4 years from now when penalties and interest have added up by the time they catch you and take it around, and you're in trouble and it costs you almost twice as what you gained. There's no reason to cheat the system. No reason at all. There's legitimate ways to write off your taxes. Have a business. If you invest in real estate, make it a business. And everything you do, I don't care if you take somebody out to dinner. Talk about your business for 30 seconds and then enjoy your meal. Enjoy your meal. Did my wife and I enjoy a nice meal before we walked into this room? Absolutely we did. Was it business related? Absolutely it was. Because we were heading here. We drove here. And we were talking about our evening here. And what we're going to have occur tonight. It's business related. Business related. How many of you had kids? How many of you would like to write off your kids?
The expenses, yes.
So come to our course and we'll tell you how to do that. I asked at the beginning how many of you pay too much in tax. Yeah. We got this wonderful thing in Ontario, in Canada actually, I should say, called HST. How many of you pay HST? Yeah? No, a few of you? Okay, so some of you are skirting under the system here. Keep the camera this side, please. So HST is one of my favorite because what I look at is if you have an $80,000 income and you have $20,000 in expenses, at $80,000 in income, you're paying 30% tax, 30% tax, and something like that. So that $20,000 that you spent is going to save you 30%. So what's 30% of 20,000? $7,000, $6,000. It's going to generate a $6,000 tax return. You spent 20 in your business, your investment portfolio, you're going to get back 6 or 7. That's nice. That's nice. But when you're HST registered, every single penny, how many of you did not hear me? Every single penny you spend in HST that's related to your business comes back to who? You. Every single penny that's related to your business. Okay? So that party I had, the last party I had, cost a pretty penny. And I spent a lot of HST on it. A lot of HST. It was business related, and my business is registered for HST. So every single penny of HST that I spent, I got back. And every single expense that you spend related to your business, if you're HST registered, you will get it back. That's a lot of money. 13% of everything you spend. Would that be nice to get back?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you change your mindset, you write things off, the HST are part of it. So when we talk to people, and when I'm talking to you, why should you HST register? If you're in business, Revenue Canada says you don't have to register for HST until you earn how much money? $30,000. Most people think, hey, great, I don't have to register. Most people, when they start a business, they're going to probably make money or lose money in the first few years.
Lose.
On paper. Lose, right? You follow a few strategies, you're probably going to lose a lot. Right? We like that, right? Hopefully you're making money, but on paper we want to lose some. If you're losing money, it means if you're HST registered, okay, so let's say I'm HST registered and I sell you this piece of paper for $10. Will you give me $10 for that piece of paper?
Yeah.
All right, okay, awesome, thanks. So $10, right? So on top of that, because I'm HST registered, I had to add $1.30, right? So you're going to pay me $1.30. That's not my money. You're going to give me that money. I'm going to just pass it to the government. I'm just flow through, just pass it through, right? But to sell you that $10 piece of paper, I had to buy this $1,000 projector to show you. It didn't work tonight for me, sorry. I had to buy this $1,000 projector to show you why you should buy that $10 piece of paper. So I collected $1.30 from you. I gave it to the government. I spent $1,000 here. What's 13% of 1,000? $130. How much of that $130 is coming back to me?
All of it.
All of it, because it related to my business. Oh, my kids want to watch a movie tonight. I think I'll put the projector on. That's all coming back to me. So most of the time, and I say most of the time, register for HST because you're getting more back than what you're paying. Right? The only time I talk to people and say don't register for HST is if your competition is not registered for HST. So a good example is maybe personal trainers. Right? A lot of personal trainers aren't registered for HST and they sell to consumers. Right? So if I sell to you as a consumer, are you registered for HST as a consumer? No. So if I charge you 13% on top of my bill, can you get it back? No, you can't. But you're in business. If I charge you 13% and you're in business, you're HST registered, you're getting it back, right? Do you care if I charge you the 13%? No. Do you care if I charge you the 13%? You do. So you have to watch who you're selling to. And most of the time if you're selling to a consumer, it's going to be adding to your costs, to them, so you may put yourself out of the market. But if you're selling to business, if you're invested in real estate, commercial, you can get back HST. Residential, you can't, right? An investment, if you're invested, you're typically not doing anything. So you're not registering for HST. But could you maybe have a business that manages your investment for you?
Yes.
Right? You may meet with somebody who introduces you to the investments. You may invest with somebody else, but do you maybe need a business to manage that investment for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. if you have that business to manage your investments for you, can you maybe write that off, your expenses? Yeah, absolutely. Let me just grab that sip of water here, get a little bit hoarse. How am I doing on time, Jack?
You're over.
I'm over. Oh my gosh. I apologize. Yes, a question.
My question is about a car. You had this explanation about having a log, which is obviously a great idea. But what about the cost of the car itself?
Oh, the cost of the car. Okay. So this is another great, thank you very much. What's your name?
Fazel.
Fazel, thank you very much for your question, Fazel. So this is another good example for HST. So when you purchase a car, you can't write off the whole car on your tax return because it's considered an asset. That asset you can depreciate over a number of years. The vehicle is actually 30%. So if you buy a car for $30,000, you write off $10,000 in the first year and then 30% of $20,000 the second year. So you write it off over time. Okay?
Completely?
Yeah, you write it off right down to zero. Yeah. So every year you write off 30% till it gets down to zero. Right? If you sell it for say 20,000 and you've written it off down to 10, then you've got to pay capital recapture and you pay tax on that. But how often does that happen? How often do you sell a car for more than what it's worth?
So my accountant, who I've always thought is very good, says that because you use the car for personal use and business use, you can't write it off more than 50%. So what goes into your tax is actually 50% of what you're writing off.
Right. Okay. Where did I put my mileage log? I think this one was my mileage log. Right. And this one was my mileage log. Okay. So give me a reason why you're going to use a car for personal purposes.
None.
Okay. None. Okay. So another quick example. Okay. So my mom calls me up. My mom and dad live in Simcoe, about 2 hours away from here. My mom calls me up and says, Craig, we'd like you to come out for dinner on Sunday. Sorry. Can you come out for dinner on Sunday? 2 hours away. That's a lot of kilometers on my car. I can't go to dinner with Mom and write that off on my tax return. Sorry, Mom, you know, I love your roast beef and your Yorkshire pudding, but I can't come out for dinner on Sunday.
Oh, wait.
Can I talk with Dad for a minute? Sure. Okay, I put Dad on the phone. Dad, I put together a few new brochures for my real estate investment because I'm looking to find some great mortgage brokers like Jeff, and I want to reach out to the rest of Canada to find more of them. So I've made these great brochures. And Dad, I know you're a great critic of everything I do. Delete that, please. Would you mind if I come out to your place on Sunday afternoon and you'd have a look at my brochures and give me your critique? Tell me what's good, what's bad, what I should use, what I should change, right? Would you do that, Dad? Absolutely, son. Anything for you. Awesome. I'll be there Sunday at noon. What's Mom making for dinner? Right? Is it a shift? It's a shift. Right? You can do that in business, you can do that in your real estate, change your mindset. Change your mindset. Okay? So I believe I've gone over a little bit of time. So is it okay if I share with you how you can find out more?
Yes.
How you could find out about everything in your life and how you write it off? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, we have life. Oh my God, I can't believe my throat's going. All right, so at Blackthorn, we offer a Payless Tax workshop. Okay, our Payless Tax workshop, our next one is actually this weekend, Saturday. It's in the east end of Brampton. Our next one after that is April 9th and then June 11th. It's at the Riverdale Golf Club in Brampton. It's $197. Now,
Can we write it off?
anybody, my throat's a bit coarse, so can somebody answer that for me?
Yes.
So in this course, we'll show you, if you earn $30,000 in a year in a job, we'll show you how to get $4,000 in tax returns. On top of that, we'll show you how to get $2,500 a year in HST back in your pocket. $6,500 if you earn $30,000 a year. If you earn $50,000, we'll show you how to get $12,000 back. Tax return and HST. How many of you are willing to pay $197 to get back $6,000 to $12,000? If your income's higher, even better. Okay, so all of you, come up here, take an order form, and you're coming. No, seriously.
What's the bonus for action takers?
What's that? What's that?
What's the bonus for the first 10 people who sign up?
I don't do that. I don't give bonuses. I believe there's true value in what we can teach you. It is a $197 course, but Jeff, thanks to Jeff and thanks to Lindsay, everybody thank them. Thanks to them. If you're interested in coming to that course, it's 100% free, no cost.
Wow.
Because, thank you, Jeff. Because, you know, I had a few people put up their hand and said, you pay $197, and I appreciate that, and I'd love to take your $197, but, you know, I want to get this information, I want to share it with you, right? And I don't want to share it with you because I just want to give stuff away, but I want to build relationships as well, and I want to build relationships with you. So this is our introductory course, and if you buy it tonight, or if you take it tonight through Jeff and Lindsay, it's absolutely free. Okay, I've got the order forms up here. All you have to do is come up here after we're done and fill out your name, your email address, and you're coming Saturday or you're coming on April 9th. Okay, we do have a bonus session in the day. Anybody familiar with the lady named Claudia Harvey? Yeah, okay. Anybody familiar with the show Dragon's Den? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Kevin O'Leary. Yeah. So Claudia and her partner got a deal from Kevin O'Leary on Dragon's Den. How many of you would like to hear how to influence people to a level that you could influence somebody like Kevin O'Leary? So Claudia, this particular session in January, she is our guest speaker. She is our guest speaker through lunch. It's a VIP lunch. There is a cost to lunch. Her session is $197. Lunch is $27. If you want to come to lunch and listen to Claudia, so you come for the morning and for lunch, you have to pay $27 to sit through that. So if you decide you want to come for lunch and you come up and grab an order form, I will also need, on top of your name and email address, a thing called a credit card. Is that okay? Yeah. To charge off your lunch. Oh, by the way, we will charge you HST. So there'll be $3.51 in HST. But if you go home tomorrow and register for HST and you're in business and it relates to your business, you'll get that back. So do you care? Do you care? No. Okay, so I'm going to charge you that HST because I want to give some money to the government. Right? I want to give some money to the government because over here I'm taking it back. Right? Is that okay? All right, so the Pay Less Tax course, we will go into detail. We will go into detail every single expense that you can write off and how to write it off and how to change your mindset. It won't be boring. I'm not going to sit up there and just go, okay, well, here you go, this one here and this one here. I'll give you some fun. I'll give you some fun. And if you don't enjoy yourself, and if you don't feel like you learned something, and you paid for the lunch, I'll give you your money back. You just come up to me and say, Craig, you know, I didn't learn a damn thing. I want my money back. I'll give you your money back. All right, so thank you very much. If you're interested in the course, whether it's just come for Pay Less Tax, or you want to actually come for the lunch as well and see Claudia speak, just come up here. I got plenty of order forms. I need your name, your email address. If you don't have a credit card, I'll take cash. I'll take check. I'll take your firstborn. I'll probably write them off if that's okay. But please, I hope I can spend some more time with you, whether it be this weekend or sometime in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all of you. Thank you.
Wow, did anybody Get something out of that?
Yes.
Everybody glad they came tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you spent money or earned money tonight?
Earn
I'll
money.
get it back.
I want to say thank you very much to Craig Dunkerley. Can we give him a big round of applause? That's amazing. I've been to his course. I know it's worth $197 to offer it to you guys for free. That's amazing.
Sorry, I just had a question. If you buy lunch and you bring somebody with you, I'll buy them lunch.
Isn't that incredible? Who expected to have fun tax advice tonight? Nobody, right? Was that not entertaining and informative? I want to say thank you to Craig. I want to say thank you to Lindsay, to Natalia, of course, to Todor for organizing this entire thing. Thank you to you guys for coming out tonight. Please find us on Facebook, Twitter, #RENetworkTO. Have a great night, guys, and enjoy some networking. Thank you very much.